The only way you are going to avoid tension during visa interview is just to practice. Practice. Say a story. Wake up in the morning. Say it every day to yourself. Believe it, because even if you don't believe in your story, who will? Even the consular officer wouldn't believe what you're saying. So stay tuned as I give you a few questions that you can use to practice before your visa interview. So stick through to the end of this video because I have new updates from USCIS. We'll bring you all the new things first, okay? Welcome back to my channel. On this channel, I give you valuable insights to higher education as well as travel and lifestyle. Just hold on, we can get there soon, okay? All right, so today I promised to do a video on the practice questions. You know, you need to practice over and over again. But before that, if you haven't watched my video on the 3 major secrets, I'll leave the link somewhere or down there. I'll leave it in the description box below. Watch it before this video is going to make a lot of sense to you. I also have a video on the documents checklist, and this is going to be the very last video on the visa. I mean, we are bringing the visa series to an end. We're already getting some really good news using my tips. So guys, to the last video in our visa series. If you haven't watched the previous videos, please, I'll leave the link in the description box below so you can go watch it, okay? This is the very last one. I promise to do it and I have to deliver. I do not want to fall back on my promises. Stay tuned as I give you all the questions that you can practice with a few hints here and there. If you haven't watched my 3 major secrets video to ace your visa interview, please do it before you watch this one so you can understand this video better. We're just going to run through the questions, then you can refer to that video for all your answers. In order to put your thoughts together, I put these questions in 4 main categories, okay? The school or academics, financial, ties, and the others. Now just note, this is a disclaimer that all consular officers are not the same. They are not going to ask the same questions, and these are just questions you just need to practice with. This is going to be very fast, it's going to be very swift because all the answers are in my previous video. Just to, I told you, build your story. I don't want to be a broken record. So guys, please, let's begin. All right, so when it comes to school, I wrote all the questions down, so forgive me if I keep referring because I don't want to leave any out, okay? All right, so when it comes to school, the major questions are that they can ask you, the probable or the most likely questions, or these are some of the likely questions that you could be asked. Number 1, maybe they could ask a question like, why this school? Why the school you're attending, okay? They could also ask, where did you complete your bachelor's degree if you are going to do a master's, okay? And what course are you going to major in? Like I said, why the school? I think case scenarios makes this thing better, so I would always use myself as an example. So why Brandeis University? Then you say it, oh, you give your answers. Then why this major? Why are you going to study this program? You should know. You could also have a question like, how many schools did you apply to? How many rejections did you get? And how many were you admitted into? It's also one of the questions. In all these questions, please be truthful. You really need to be truthful because, hey, this is their system and the way it is. Truth will set you free. That's it about school. You need to know everything on your I-20 form. Like, know it back to back. the start date, the end date, the major, if possible, like some of the professors' names. Okay, just look at the curriculum of the course if possible, know 1 or 2 courses, and then make sure at least you've spoken to maybe 1 or 2 people in the school. You have one of them's name in mind in case of anything. You could say, oh, I noted this professor, and the person's work sits well with me or is in alignment with what I want to do, so the person would mentor me better, or something like that. That's also one of it. And the next thing could also be, why didn't you do this course in your country, or doesn't your country offer this program? With that too, you could also link it to maybe higher softwares that are being used to teach in that field. The next category is finances, and then with the finances, the major question you are going to be getting is, who is sponsoring you? Who is your sponsor? All right, so for that, if you are given a scholarship, you talk about it, you tell them you have a scholarship. It will most likely be on your I-20. If it's from the school, it will be indicated there, but you be sure to state it. And if it's an external sponsor like your family member, make sure you know the person very well. You know, let's say the occupation the person does, how much the person earns a year. And most importantly, I had a few people who also had this question, that you should know the reason why, if it's, let's say, a distant relative like an auntie or an uncle, why the person is choosing to sponsor you. Because most likely the person has children, so they could ask you, does your sponsor have children? And if your sponsor has children, then why is your sponsor deciding to sponsor you? Why you? Yeah, so you have to get ready for such an answer as well. So you could also get some tricky questions like, if you run out of money in school, what would you do? Hey, don't say you work, or don't even think about telling them that you'd ever run out of money. Once you have a sponsor, it is assumed that the sponsor is going to see you through school till the end, and you shouldn't have any financial constraint. You get me? Yeah, so don't let them ever assume or think that there will be a point that you'd run out of money in school. It's not like it's not going to happen. It will happen, but you're not the one going to tell them that it's going to happen. Do you understand? Because if you're going to school, for them, your finances needs to be in place before you enter the country. The country hard. All right, so that was just by the way. So for the ties, like I said in my previous video, the kind of questions you can get are, what will you do after completing studies? The answer is in my video. I won't even say it again. Now just go and watch it. You would understand what I'm saying. So like I said, you could use your work. Maybe you're coming back for a promotion, companies, or you could also talk about companies that you'd like to work in when you come back. So have a few points or a few companies in mind that you'd also want to use. That if you are not already working, but if you are working, you could just use your work that you're going to come back, maybe for higher positions, for promotions, or you want to come set up something for yourself, anything like that. Okay, now other questions that they can ask within that scenario to let them know that you're going to come back is, what do you do? What work are you doing? Like, they want to know if you are working. To them, most likely you're going to come back. Okay, who is your employer? Who's employing you? Do you have relatives in the United States? Please be truthful. Okay, now with the category of others, the question you could be asked is your test scores. Okay, GRE, SAT, TOEFL, IELTS, and then do you plan to work while you are in school? Do you plan to work while you're in school? They give you 20 working hours that you could do while you're in school, but I don't think you have to make it very obvious to them that when you go, yes, you're going to use those 20 working hours. You could say you have enough to sustain you. You're sponsoring you, everything that your I-20 is your school fees plus your living expenses. So once you have these two covered by your sponsor, they don't expect you to say you're going to work. So this is very brief, and then these are the possible questions. This is the end of our visa series. The bonus tip. I think my bonuses are more powerful than even the points I give, don't you think? Okay, so this is it. Now the visa interview with time is going to be switching from an interview process to just, you know, submit your papers, and they'll have the review, they'll review it, and then they'll decide whether they would give you the visa or not. Two schools of thoughts. I have been, you know, discussing this with a few people. We've been trying to work around it to see, like, is it good, is it bad, is it good, is it bad? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. But this is the two schools of thought. Number one, there's not going to be a lot of tension. That's for one school of thought. From the other school of thoughts, now there will be more tension, because you just submit your documents and you sit and wait for 2 weeks. Can you imagine all the things you'll be doing within that 2 weeks? Like, all the things that could possibly be going through your head, you know? That's it. Now, that's it when it comes to tension. Now, the other thing is, you will not be able to, you know, sell yourself. Some people are good at talking. Some people are very good at letting you know who they are. They are not going to have that personal connection with you, you know, to know if you'd be able to nail this or not. You know, some people are able to convince their way through things, and it's going to be a loss for such people. And the other thing is, those who are also shy, nervous, and, you know, can't stand interviews tend to benefit a lot from this. And so this is the good news, good bad news, I don't know how to call it, but this is the new change that is being implemented. So let's see how it goes. As and when it pulls through, or as and when it's going to begin, I'm going to stay in touch and then give you the news. We've come to the end of this particular video, so I hope you actually enjoyed it. Please be sure to like, please be sure to subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you are the first to know when I drop a video, and then you can watch it as well. Thank you so much for having me on your screens. Be kind, and don't forget to persist, and you're going to have that international degree. Bye.